Hi there, Lee Irwin, founder of Spiritual Women Entrepreneurs. I'm so happy you're here with me today because we're talking about something that you really want to know about. If you're a conscious entrepreneur, a coach, a healer, a visionary leader, and you want to have more clients who pay you actual money to work with them and offer them your awesome sauce, you've got to be in a conversation with them first to let them know what it is you do, right? And I have been getting so many questions, fabulous questions from you guys asking me, okay, so I know this is important to have an intro session. Where do I find the people? What do I say to them? How long is the session? What's worked for you, Lee? So today that's a lot, and today we're going to break it down. So today we're going to talk about where to find the people that you really want to be talking to, your awesome potential clients. So let's dive in. What I'm going to do is tell you what has worked for me, and of course this is not a cookie cutter approach. It has to resonate with you. It has to be aligned with what brings you alive, and you might have to do some inner work. If you're like all of us, there's plenty of inner work to do whenever you're trying something new, when you're taking a big step, when you're being more out there. And that's what I'm talking about today. So not the inner work part, but the external actions. So this is let me just tell you 3 things that I did to connect with real people and get in a conversation with them and tell them what I do and then enroll them as clients. Okay, so number 1, Facebook posts. All right, you have probably seen about a bazillion Facebook posts of people offering free sessions. That's a thing. If you're like me, you're a little tired of the same old pitch. So here's what I recommend, and this is what I've done. You guys know I don't recommend things unless I've actually tried it myself. And this is what I recommend. Either on your personal page, and that's where I put these posts. If you have a Facebook group, definitely post inside your Facebook group. And you may want to start there before you put it on your personal page. And here's the thing, I want you to be writing. This is what I did. I sat down at my computer and I actually meditated before I started, and I asked for help from my guides, loved ones, angels, whoever you call on, to help you be an open channel. So that helped me get my ego self out of the way and still take action. So I call this being vulnerageous. And a friend of mine said, does that mean vulnerable and outrageous? And I said, well, a little. What I actually meant was vulnerable and courageous. So if as you're typing or writing, you can write it out by hand and then type it later. If as you're typing, hey Kathy, if you're typing or writing and you're crying or you're sweating, I broke out in a hot sweat as I was writing one of these, that's a good clue that you're being vulnerageous and you're saying something that's coming from your deepest heart and from your true mission. You are being what we all call authentic. You're being vulnerageous. So, and it's not canned authenticity. You can smell that a mile away. We all can. We have as humans, we have a 6th sense for that fake sincerity. So this is real. It's real stuff. And I am not talking about, basically taking a dump on your Facebook page. So there's a fine line that we can talk more about later. Right now, I just want to say Facebook posts work. Now, at the end, you want to, after you've written whatever, I told a story about a dream I had that I got stoned, actually stoned, that women threw rocks at me when they brought rocks in their purse and then threw them at me when I did a live event. So that was a kind of a nightmare I had before I did an actual live event. And so I talked about that, and it was very fresh and real for me. And a lot of people resonated with it, and they replied to it. So I think I got like 1,000 views on that video. No, was it a video? No, it wasn't even a video. Sorry. It was a Facebook post. And, I got like 100 replies to it. And what I did at the bottom was just simply say, PM me, private message me, if this resonates for you. And that was the beginning of a conversation on Facebook Messenger where for some people, when it felt aligned, I offered them time to get on the phone with me. And then we talked more about their business, more about the fears they were facing, their live event, whatever the topic was, whatever was up and fresh for them. Okay, and then I offered them I told them about my services. Some of the people enrolled with me as clients or joined my group. Okay, so that's that, VULNERAGEOUS. And you might think of when you're writing the post, it's sort of the blood, sweat, and tears approach. So if you feel like you've given a pint of blood, or you've sweated, or you've cried, good, you're on the right track, and keep writing. Number 2, where to find clients or potential clients for your intro or discovery session is a networking event, or just an event. Maybe you go to an event, a workshop, a seminar, a 3-day event where your potential clients are. And I'll tell you 2 things I did. Always start with meditation. So I'm in my hotel room and I connect with my guides and I say, please show me the people who will be ideal for me to work with, who are looking for exactly what I have. Just show them to me. Have them show up in my field, and I'll be available. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I go downstairs, and one time I just stood in the back of the room, and I sort of, let's say, I think I had my hands open, so my palms were open and my hands were by my side, and I just sort of sent out I sent a beam of light out across the room, and like a searchlight. And then at the break, I was at the back of the room, and lo and behold, of course, no surprise, 3 or 4 people just happened to walk by and noticed me, and they were attracted to the light, I guess, and we got into these great conversations. And then it went from there into setting up. What we did was actually set up a phone call on the spot. I didn't send them a link. We grabbed our phones, everybody's got their cell phone with them. I had a link that my assistant had set up beforehand to my scheduler, and I just, text message it to them. And so we got the call set up right then. Another time, this was kind of fun. This was an inspired kind of wacko thing. I stood by the registration table. So, it's a long registration table, and then I just stood a few feet away from it, so I wasn't in the push of the crowd of people registering. But as they would finish registering, they're sort of looking around like, well, who's there? And I just did the same thing. I said, please let the ideal people I need to connect with, please let them be drawn to me. And, had some great conversations with people there, and same thing, enroll them in a conversation with me later. So, because it was a natural evolution, it wasn't like I was standing there ready to pounce on them, like a salesy tiger. but just to see what the universe was showing me was aligned for both of us, for our highest good and greatest joy. So that's that idea. Oh, and let me just say this, when in that situation, when you're live, when you're really face to face with people, they can feel your energy, right? So you want to be sure you've done your inner work beforehand, so you're not sending out that desperate, kind of icky vibe, that energy, because of course people can smell that a mile away. So you're relaxed, you're in a space where you're relaxed and open to whatever you're being shown and being given. Yeah, and then when they say, what do you do? Of course you want to be listening mostly and asking them questions and engaging in a conversation, but they're going to say, so what do you do? And what I love, instead of this long, rehearsed elevator speech, that just, I think makes all of us freeze, or go into some wacky, sales mode. What I say is, you know what? I have the best job in the world. I say something like this. I have the best job in the world, which is true. I get to work with women entrepreneurs to help them make more money, do more good, and have way more fun. And they go, wow, that sounds great. How do you do that? And then I say, I have lots of ways, and I'd love to talk more with you about it. Are you a woman entrepreneur? Yes. Well, tell me more about what you do. And then I say, something like, well, let's get on the phone and talk more about this. We don't really have time. We're going to the event, and I love talking to you. Let's set up a time to talk more. That's what a friend would do. That's what you do when you're making a friend, right? You're building a relationship with this person, long-term relationship that's going to be so transformative for them, and it's going to transform you and your bank account. Okay. So third thing is what I call low-hanging fruit. And I didn't make this up. Low-hanging fruit is a thing. It's an idea. And I'll just tell you a story about, so low-hanging fruit is the people who would be already know you, already have worked with you, they trust you. This is like a direct, not a referral, but a direct line that you have with a former client. So can be a former client in your current business, could be a former client, let's say you have an interior design business. It could be one of those clients. So what I did, I'll just tell you what I did. Take what you can use and leave the rest. I made a short list, a very short list. I think I had 10 people on it, of people I had worked with in coaching who I absolutely adored, and they had gotten great results, and I hadn't talked to them in a while. So that happens, right? We're on to the next thing, and we forget that it's gold. We have this pile of gold, probably in our database, of clients we've worked with, and we forget to go back to them and say, hey, how are you doing? So that's what I did. I sent them a personal email. It was not an auto, it wasn't from my email, my email service. It was from me. And I just said, hey, call them by their name, duh, of course. And just said, I was thinking about you this week, which is true. And I just wondered how you're doing. We had such an amazing experience together, and you got such great, you got this, and, just was thinking about you. I'd love to catch up. If you've got time, would you have time to jump on a phone call with me? And I think I put my link in it. Not positive about that, but you could. Go ahead and put your scheduling link in there. And if you don't have a scheduler yet, get one. Calendly or Schedule Once, or, no, I'm sorry, I don't recommend that one. You can book me. There are lots, and they're free when Schedulicity works. So get you a scheduling link, at least one to start out with. They have free ones. And so I sent the email, and then we followed up with a phone call. So here's the story. I'll just tell you one thing that happened from that. Sent the email. It was a female attorney that I'd worked with over the past, 3 or 4 years, off and on. And she had her own firm now, and had gone out on her own, which was awesome, and I helped her do that, but I hadn't followed up with her. Crazy. But so we got on the phone. She was going through a lot of self-doubt. Her business had dropped off. It was going gangbusters and then had dropped off. And so, the timing was perfect. And I just listened to her, and then what naturally flowed from that was she was about to have a retreat with herself and her partners. And I said, look, why don't I come to the retreat, do a 2-hour session with you guys, and help you get on the same page and plan your next year. So we'll do a vision planning, strategic planning, for the next 12 months. How does that sound? Great, Lee, would you do that? That would be so awesome. So we did. Of course, I charged her for that, $2,000. And is that right? Something like that. Anyway, so that was billable time. And I'm laughing because attorneys always, talk about billable hours. So, so I showed up. We had an amazing visioning session. And at the end of it, of course, it was basically an intro session, but we, had a lot of visioning about what they wanted. And then at the end, I said, look, for you guys to get this, what you want, and to feel the way you want to feel in your business, we need to be coaching together. And so this is what I propose. And I laid out a 1-year plan for them, which of course I had thought about. It was a basic framework for how we would work together. And and they said, it sounds great. How much is it? And I said, it's normally would be $24,000 for the year for you guys, because I've worked with you and I really want to help you. It's $18,500. And they wrote me a check the next day for $18,500 plus the $2,000 for the strategic planning. And we finished that year. We just finished that year, and then they wanted to continue. And so now we're meeting quarterly. So that total is like $25,000 from one email and one phone call, building on a strong relationship I had in the past. But it wouldn't have happened, I guarantee you, if I had not sent that email and made that phone call, because the timing was aligned for us to reconnect and start working together again. So thank you for that. All right, so I hope this was helpful. That's my 3 answers to where to find the people. There's so much more. I have so much more to give you, and I love all your questions. Thank you for those of you who have written in and really asked specific questions. So, which has inspired me to cook up something really tasty. The recipe's not completely together, but I'm already thinking about it today, and I'm gonna let you know next week what it is I'm gonna offer you, so that you can get your questions answered and fill your intro sessions with great people, with qualified people who are able to hire you and who are eager to hear what it is you can do for them and bring them the results they want. So we'll dive in. Stay tuned, and thank you so much for being here. Remember, own your greatness, embody your mission. The time is now. And I'll add a PS, be vulnerageous. All right, look forward to hearing from all of you. Love you.